So I'm using this Maps app to usually mark like a few mosques and stuff like that we're visiting. But in this town, it escalated a little bit. So we usually have like 20 or 30 spots, but this is like 100 to 150, so I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do that, to be quite honest.
For a matter of fact, we apparently didn't film any of our Isfahan exploration, and I decided to spare you from showing you shaky footage of walking through Varzaneh this time around. So we're currently checking out, but like last second we figured that we should film the hotel room, as we usually do. The door's so weird. It's actually worse, there's blankets on the floor because it's completely wet. To once more catch you up with our geographical location, we were still in central Iran, using Isfahan as our base and had 3 places to go to for the day. Varzaneh, Ghoortan and Ezhieh, all of which we had yet another driver for. Our first stop was Varzaneh, a small town with the adjacent Varzaneh Desert, which is a popular tourist spot. Here's also where some language barrier issues came into play. Our driver first of all stopped at the entrance of some desert camp, where people go to do various desert activities, as in driving down massive sand dunes for example. But since he parked in front of it, we thought we'd not be able to go in, only for him to confuse us more by driving in minutes later. But he also drove past all the parking spots, some were way into the back, and then got his car stuck in sand, which made the whole situation even weirder. And since he didn't speak English and only Farsi, we could not communicate about what's going on, and we were just a bit confused with everything. When we then left the desert camp, on our way back to the city, I filmed a few little bits and pieces of interesting architecture we've seen. Now in the town itself, we mostly only spent time exploring the so-called Pigeon Tower, which might be more known by the term dove coat. Basically, historically pigeons were an important food source, so many of these towers were built in Iran to house those pigeons. Architecturally, those places are just gorgeous to my mind and unlike anything I've ever seen in Europe. And when you're driving around central Iran, you're seeing a lot of ruins of them, but luckily they've started to rebuild and refurbish some of them so you can actually see what the area looked like in the past. I am also going to include this specific sequence because it kind of shows how fascinated I was with everything related to that particular building. From there, we then continued on to Ghoortan. Now, I wanted to give you some more in-depth information about this place, but from what I've gathered, it is very underrated and therefore not much reported on. Basically, it's another town completely made out of mud brick that is essentially walled in its entirety, making it a citadel. Now the interesting part about it, however, is that it may first look like it's entirely in ruins, but once you walk further into it, you'll realize that in certain parts people are still living. And they're apparently tearing down houses to rebuild them right now, which makes one very curious on how this place may look like in the far future. It is also by far one of my favorite places in the entire country, and we've already decided to go back here to explore it further and get some more professional footage. As you're used to at this point, this is gonna be the part of the video where I'm not gonna say anything for a few minutes and just let you all at the material we have. But then the time came where we sadly had to leave Ghoortan behind. And while looking back and realizing yet again how massive that structure actually is, we made our way to Ezhieh. Now I can really tell you nothing about the town itself, since we've never been there, but a few ruins in its vicinity did catch our eye, making us want to stick around. In particular, we've went into ruins of a caravanserai, looked at another one from the distance that was further away than we first realized, and then after that we spent a lot of time around a group of Pigeon Towers that I've also filmed from way too many different angles. Now, admittedly, the end for this video is gonna be surprisingly abrupt, but that basically was our day. The last piece of footage I'm going to share is from when we went back to Isfahan to do some more mosque hunting. But since it was already really late, we only saw one major mosque at sunset, basically. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd really appreciate if you give it a like or even write a comment and let me know your thoughts about it. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel and put on the post notifications to not miss any further uploads where I'm showing you yet again places you maybe never heard of.
Okay.